Alright mate, this is Artifact. Welcome back to the Producer Mindset. On this episode I want to teach you my top 5 favourite free utility plugins you can go ahead and download right now. I use these all the time. Starting off with number 1 is Voxengo Span. I always throw this on my master straight away so that any sample I'm working with, or just if I want to analyse my tracking as a whole, I can straight away see a really detailed, accurate analysation of where all the frequencies are sitting. So it's super important for using when you're selecting samples and things like this. So Voxengo Span, number 1. Number 2 is the Voxengo CORRELOMETER, and basically what this does is it shows you if a sound is out of phase or not. So if I'm testing samples, or if I just want to play with the kind of stereo image of a sound, I'll always be looking at the CORRELOMETER, and if the blocks are above the middle line, then things are in phase and it's going to sound okay on like a big system, for example. But if things are like below the line on the CORRELOMETER, then it's out of phase and you need to like either reselect a better sample or tame back some of that stereo or crazy modulation stuff that you've been doing. Anyway, going into number 3 is the Camel Crusher, which is a soft clipper or hard clipper, I don't even know. Anyway, basically I put this on the end of all of my processing chains. If I think that certain things are going to push the volume over 0, this Camel Crusher is going to make sure that nothing ever goes above 0, and I can then hear if I'm really distorting stuff or not when I'm processing sounds. And if it sounds good and it's being pushed up to 0, then I'm going to get a really loud sound, which is still dynamic because I'm listening as I'm doing it. But the Camel Crusher is there to make sure nothing goes above 0, and if it does, well, it won't, because the Camel Crusher's there. Get me? Alright, the 4th favourite free plugin is a new one I've started using recently, which is the A1 Stereo Control. And this one, basically, it just has a really nice algorithm of making things stereo or making things narrow. So you can quickly adjust like the width of a sound quite sort of nicely, you know. And basically, the reason why I also like this is because it has another setting, which is the safe bass setting. And you can basically take out some of the stereo information of a part of the sound. So really, like down in the low end, you can sort of tune this on and like sort of slowly curve off that low end stereo information that you might not want. But yeah, it's a really cool way to widen a sound and also to narrow it, and you can play with the width and listen like on your headphones or on your speakers and find the right perfect place for the sound, you know. Number 5, final one, is one I've really just downloaded a couple of days ago, which is awesome. I'm definitely going to be using it on loads of sounds, which is the OTT from XFER Records. And basically it's a multi-band compressor, and it kind of acts a bit like the one within Serum. And what it does is it lets you gain like the volume of a sample or an audio file, but by playing with the 3 settings, like the lows, the mids and the highs, and like adjusting them slightly, you can sort of gain things in like a kind of quite natural way. Like it's called a multi-band compressor, but just to simplify it, I basically see it as a way to sort of squeeze out a bit of extra volume from your sound and emphasize the certain bits. Like you might want a bit more high end or a bit more mid-range, but it's just a nice way to get like a louder bit of sample before you go on to like add other cool effects and stuff like that. Anyway, I hope that has been a clear enough explanation for you guys. I highly suggest you check out my Patreon, the link is below, because on there I do live stream production sessions which are wicked, and you can also get in the group and chat and talk to me and have a beer or a coffee while I'm producing and watch. And I've got like almost 20 full tutorials on there now as well. Feedback every Friday. I mean, it's hard work, but you know, I love you guys. See you soon.